Good evening. My name's Olivia. I also go by Olivia K on Facebook, on Ollie K on Instagram, and see, I almost said Warmium, and Warmium 9800 on Reddit. So I talk about nursing related materials, including NCLEX, and I help others that are just beginning to take their first attempt or many others. And I also go over reality TV shows, documentaries, and of other topics. So that's what I'm usually here, and that's what I'm about. And I do need to talk about stuff other than nursing because sometimes you just need to decompress because nursing's a lot. Anyways, I do have a special news I was going to talk about, but that I think that can wait till tomorrow. But right now I want to go over America's Next Top Model documentary, not the show. I mean, we can go over that, but that's going to take me too long, and I don't have time for that. But the documentary is basically giving voice to the contestants, past contestants that have been there, and also be aware there's going to be a warning and disclaimer that there will be uncomfortable topics that will be brought up in this video. So they basically talk about how America's Next Top Model came into light, why it became such a big phenomenon. I guess Tyra was going to different networks to pitch this idea where, reality TV was big in the early 2000s. Let's be honest. Like, you had the Osborne TV show, which I didn't watch at the time. They had Survivor, Amazing Race, and they still have some of these shows out there. Then they had Real World, which I don't even know if I don't think I'm going to talk about that one, but they had so many reality TV shows. So Tyra thought maybe I can do reality shows for models out there that want to get into the industry. I can show them the ropes, and we need more diversity in the modeling world. Which every little girl watching this was like on board with that, which is great. So her and Ken Mock went to UPN. I think that's what it was known for at the time. And I think I forgot what channel it went to CW, right? CW. I don't remember. UPN used to be a really good channel. Unpopular opinion. So so what happened was they made the show America's Next Top Model, and I was so happy that I got to see the likes of Ebony. Ebony still looks damn good. Then you had Shannon, who was runner up. And then I think the first winner was Adrian Curry, that was married to one of the Brady Bunch actors. I remember seeing them in Surreal Life. Now that show was a trip. That show was fun to watch at the time. Yeah. Okay, so Ebony talks about how racism was played into how the judges treated her because they wanted her to look some sort of way. So they shaved her hair, right? And then they made her seem like she was too oily, and then she was picked on because she wasn't what they wanted, and then ultimately they booted her. And just hearing her story, it's like, that kind of shit doesn't surprise me at all. I felt like, and I usually hate to take my mind there because I usually am very colorblind. That's how I am. And because I know it's not the regular people, it's the industry and certain figureheads in the celebrity world that do this. I think Tyra was really hard, and I think she was a bit of a colorist towards a lot of the models. And hearing Ebony, it doesn't bother me that it doesn't bother me. It doesn't surprise me. It does bother me, actually, to a degree. It does bother me. It doesn't surprise me that Ebony was treated as such, and I feel so awful that happened to her. So she aired her grievance out. Then they talk about. I don't think I saw any models from season 2, except Shandy. So I want to talk about Shandy and Kenya in a few minutes, but yeah. So basically, it just the documentary basically showed Tyra in that negative kind of light, and none of the judges, I don't think, took accountability at the time for how they treated Ebony. It was just sad to see. Then now I'm going to skip over to Shandy. So disclaimer, this part's going to be a hard listen to, so if you're not comfortable, you can skip over this part. Shandy and Kenya, actually, both of them. So I want to say this before I get right into what it was both talked about with them. People, the general public, you need to do better. Do not compare Shandy and Kenya and then dismiss one of them for not being sexually assaulted. That's disgusting. That's trash. Who the hell do you think you are to make that call? I got disgusted because a lot of people are like, well, this didn't happen to her because she cheated on her boyfriend. She cheated. She and the guy knowingly. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you think. Go to hell. And don't ever sit there and say you're for fucking victims if you don't give a fuck and you're going to dismiss someone's experience. How dare you? So, with that said, so Shandy talks about her story about what happened to her. So here's the thing. When I watched her, she was glowing. She went from the retail girl that worked in Walgreens to this beautiful blossom, some butterfly. It was amazing. So, yeah. It was amazing to see. And then she was flourishing. She's doing good. But that all got ruined the moment they went to Paris. And I remember the episode clearly because I was a kid when I watched it. So this was 2000 to 2003 actually. So I was like, so that would make me like 13, 14 years old when this happened. And you have to imagine these girls that are in the show, they're like in their 20s when this happened. So the model, they had the male models where they took them on a ride or whatever on a Vespa. And then the guys were invited over to hang with them. So they all drank, okay? But the thing with America's Next Top Model, and they usually tell you they don't feed you food. And this is the same thing that's happening with Love is Blind and all these reality TV shows you see. They're not giving you food. They feed you liquor because they're trying to create a storyline. And they're trying to make a person drunk. So Shandy probably didn't eat that much. She drank a lot. So did a guy that was with her. I guess somehow they made out in the jacuzzi. But I think personally she was taken advantage of. And that's where now it differs from one group side of people that are saying, well, she willingly kissed them. They were both drunk, so were they both assaulted too? And again, that's disgusting for you to say that, and that's very dismissive. Because at the end of the day, she was put in a situation where she was taken advantage of. I think she was, because I know exactly how that fucking feels. And I know how it feels to be dismissed when something like that has happened to you. Because I can relate to that story. And this is why I don't say this a lot, because people are judgmental assholes. And yes, I'm leaving this in this video. And I think it's disgusting, and I think people should be ashamed of themselves when they say these kind of things. It damages somebody, and it makes them less than. So they kissed in the shower, and Ken Mock let this happen. The producers let this happen. And I think the girls tried to stop it. They tried. They weren't allowed to. And then Shandy woke up the next day, didn't remember what the fuck happened. And to me, her reaction shows me she was taken advantage of. Not, oh, I cheated. My God, like I've seen where people cheat on TV before. That realization that you've been taken advantage of and put in a compromised position. That's what I saw. So to hell with people who sit and can dismiss a sexual assault. How dare you? Moving on. Then Kenya's story is disgusting too. actually. So hers is just as gross. So again, don't be comparing SA situations. Grow up. So Kenya with her, this was season 4. They were in Africa. I remember because that's like one of my favorite seasons, actually. So they had a photo shoot, and then so they were supposed to dance, and then their models were around them, whatever. Now this guy was trying to, was like sexually harassing Kenya. And then he was grinding his junk on her while she's modeling. And she was uncomfortable, which rightfully so. And she spoke up for herself and said, what would Tyra do in this situation? So she said, listen, I'm feeling uncomfortable. He's moaning and doing this. And Jay did not take accountability for it as usual. And I remember watching that and be like, well, they paint it in a way where it's like, well, no, she's just bitching, complaining, blah, 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 blah. But you see these kind of things older, and it gives you a different idea. And I'm like, because if that happened to me in reality, I'll carry a pepper spray. Get the fuck away from me. You're not touching me. So they said for her to stop complaining and just do the shoot. And I'm like, that's very dismissive. So, of course, she felt very uncomfortable. They brought it up during judging, and Tara's like, well, I gave her the best advice I could. No, you didn't. You dismissed it. She's like, nope, you're going to be like, boy, back the fuck up. Like, what the fuck? Are you serious? In reality, that's called sexual harassment. And that's not okay. And this is just one of the disgusting things she's ever done, Tyra, on the show. Allowed it. You produced this show, so you bear some blame to it too, along with Ken Mock. All right, so moving on, because there are other components, so I don't want to take too long this video. So let me think. I'm not going to talk about everything. So then the instance with how they made fun of Danny. I think she goes by Danny. She was my favorite. She's my favorite winner, by the way. And I hate how they did her dirty, because when they made fun of Danielle with the accent and the buck tooth, because I had a gap. Remember I told you I had a gap at one time. Shit, that made me feel ugly when Tyra said that to Danielle, and I'm like, that would have given me so much hope and embrace it before I got braces and stuff. And just for her to then whiten someone's teeth because it was the Vogue, Tyra, go fuck yourself. That's all I'm going to say with that. And Danny didn't get a lot of opportunities. Although she did, I know I did see where she did walk to the catwalk and stuff, but she didn't get enough prints. And I feel for her because she's one of the best models. She's my favorite, and I want the best for her. I don't know if she's still modeling or not. I know Kenya's still modeling, so I follow her. She's the reason why I'm doing this short hair now. I love her. Then the Tiffany thing, I'm sorry, I glossed over. Then the Tiffany thing, like, as I was little, it was painted that, well, Tiffany didn't believe herself, But then Tyra yelled and embarrassed her. I'm like, she just wanted a good TV. And I watched a snippet of where Tiffany told me the real true tea that happened, and where she's like, oh, I'm grateful and stuff. And that's because Tyra sent her mom and to talk to Tiffany, and then she will help her out. Tyra, in a nutshell, she just was not good to these models. And I'm going to say particularly the black ones. And I hate that I'm even saying this, because with the other contestants, I don't even think she was that hard on them. She was hard on Tiffany because it was easy for her to be hard on her. So I'm like, Tyra, why didn't you give that energy to Brandy, who was doing the most, by the way? I don't care. I understand she's a lovely mom, but she was doing the most at the time. She was worse than Tiffany. Tiffany, I understand she had her anger management, but the way she didn't show her angry self when she was trying to talk to you. So how dare you, Tyra? And then all these other issues came up, like with Jay being fired, but then she kept begging him to still be on the seasons and whatever. and he finally quit. Then Miss J, he had the massive stroke. See, when I watched the documentary, I was sad because I'm like, what the hell happened to Miss J? That's horrible. What happened to Miss J? I mean, sorry. Miss J goes by they and she. They and her, I believe. What happened to Miss J was awful. Even though I know she had some moments where, sorry, listen, disclaimer too, if I accidentally misgender, please don't be offended. You have to understand my mind's wired differently, and I'm going to try to correct myself. See, I corrected myself with Miss J. I called Miss J she, not he. So Miss J had that horrible, massive stroke, and Tyra didn't even try to give flowers. That's like, you've known Miss J for years. I mean, you mistreated your cast, not just the models, and it just shows a lot about you, Tyra. And that bothers me because, damn, I idolize you like every other girl in America, because you're one of the OG CoverGirl models, and I used to love seeing you in the magazines. I'm like, wow, she's fierce, she's amazing. And for you to turn around and block that diversity and opportunities for other girls and humiliate them, that's horrible. That's a piece of work. And I just feel bad for especially Shandy and Kenya to have been treated like crap after you put them in compromised positions. So how dare you, Tyra? So that's all I gotta say about that. Justice for those wonderful girls. I hope that they know they're still beautiful, and maybe eventually they can still somehow get in the industry. But honestly, Hollywood is gross to me. So I remember this came out not too long ago, and we had a big discussion on Reddit about this and on Threads, and yeah, it's crazy to know how all these women suffered. So big ups to Shandy and Kenya, to be honest. So I'm going to leave a disclaimer. So if anyone's ever been put in a position like sexually assaulted or harassed and stuff, I'm just going to leave a link there. And again, if it's too triggering, I can understand. It is a lot. Like, even again, watching Shandy and Kenya's thing, but especially Shandy, because I've been in that position and I know what that's like. Just know you're not alone. You're not alone. That's something you never want to relive in your lifetime. And that the people who care, they support you, and you're a warrior, and there's help out there. You need it. So I'll leave some resources and links if I can find some. And that's just my opinion with the America's Next Top Model documentary. I know there's one in E. I didn't watch that one, to be honest. So nothing against the other models affected in that documentary. And I don't want to hear what Janice has to say, to be honest. But yeah, that's just my my opinion. So I do have a surprise video tomorrow, but it's not like it's going to be a thing or whatever. It just relate to my life. And for Thursday, I'm going to do I was going to do one other opinion piece, but you know what? I'm just going to do Derek Dane documentary. I just want to get that out of the way. And then I want to also talk about the NCLEX tax plan. So you guys be beautiful out there, and happy Thursday. Happy Tuesday. What day is it anymore? All right, take care. Bye.